conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Doug Smith. It is Monday at 2:30, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 podcast. Alex is here with me. This is the podcast where you will hear the science about what actually happened in the opioid crisis. And if you've been listening for a while, you know I'm on the last chapter of the book. In fact, as I'm sitting here talking on the podcast, I've got what I've written on the desk here in front of me. Looking forward to getting it finished. Probably ought to go ahead and upload the next couple of chapters up to the editors. We are looking for everybody's help on helping pay the bill to the editors. It's a pretty hefty bill. We could use some help with that. We're also looking for some help getting the first several thousand books published. So hopefully you're getting our emails. Now, take a look at the screen in front of you. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about today. Okay, as I'm going through and finishing the book, and as I'm on the last chapter is my take of what happened. Okay, I'm not as bound by science in the last chapter. It's my opinion of what happened. And what you will hear from me in the last chapter is that the opioid crisis was caused by Johnson & Johnson, along with the DEA, but it was caused by Johnson & Johnson. And the reason that I say the opioid crisis is caused by Johnson & Johnson is from the information that we know because of the work that was done by the Attorney General, Mike Hunter, and his crew, Brad Beckworth, who's on the quote in front of you, out of Oklahoma. They're the only ones who ever got Johnson & Johnson on the witness stand. And they got him on the witness stand for several days back in 2019. And we wouldn't know the information that we know if it hadn't been for the Attorney General of Oklahoma. So take a look at what they say here in front of you, okay? And here's the quote. This entire crisis began in Tasmania and New Jersey. Okay, now let's talk about what that means. This entire crisis began in Tasmania and New Jersey. Okay, Tasmania is an island off the coast of Australia. New Jersey is where Johnson & Johnson is located. And as it turns out, what Johnson & Johnson did is they genetically modified the poppy so that it didn't make any morphine at all, and it only made thebaine. Okay, and thebaine is only good for making oxycodone. Okay, so suddenly Johnson & Johnson, okay, by what's called regulatory entrepreneurship. Okay, they got around the international treaties that limited the amount of opioids. They got around that by being sneaky, and the way they were sneaky is they genetically modified the poppy plant. And so, long story short, what Johnson & Johnson ended up with was a warehouse full of oxycodone. Okay, that's what started the opioid crisis. Was Johnson & Johnson, by getting around the existing laws, ended up with a warehouse full of oxycodone. And now they got to find something to do with it. Okay, now they got to find something to do with it. They got around the international treaties, and now they have this warehouse full of oxycodone, and they got to figure out what to do with it. Okay, and they want to make money. So they had to figure out a way to sell a warehouse full of oxycodone. And you can make hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars by selling a warehouse full of oxycodone. And if you can sell a warehouse full of oxycodone and fill it up again and sell it again, and then fill it up again and sell it again, and then fill it up again and sell it again, and then fill it up again and sell it again, well, that's how you make billions of dollars. But how are you going to move all this oxycodone? Where are you going to move it to? And it's not clear who found who first, but Johnson & Johnson was pretty much the sole supplier for OxyContin. OxyContin was oxycodone. Okay. Before that, oxycodone had been used in Percocet, and you get Percocet 2.5, Percocet 5, Percocet 10, 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. It's hard to move a warehouse full of oxycodone at 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, and 10 milligrams. But with OxyContin, okay, now you're moving 20 milligrams, 40 milligrams, 80 milligrams, 160 milligrams. Okay, now you can move. Now you can move a warehouse full of oxycodone, and that's what drove the opioid crisis. Okay, once you get a warehouse full of oxycodone, it just becomes a matter of sales. Okay, selling it to the people. Okay, and that's what they did. They got the physicians on board, and hey, pain is the fifth vital sign, and pain is being undertreated, and the right to have your pain treated. But it all started with a warehouse full of oxycodone. That's how the opioid crisis started. Okay, it started with a warehouse full of oxycodone, and that warehouse full of oxycodone came from Tasmania. And that warehouse full of oxycodone came from Tasmania by Johnson & Johnson. So we will hold here for today. Please like and subscribe to us. Post this podcast on your social media, everybody else's social media. Okay. We'll be back here again tomorrow. We'll be here every day, Monday through Thursday at 2:30. Please come and join us. And we hope you're enjoying and you're learning from what we're saying. And Alex and I are going to be reaching out to everybody and then some, because it's time to get these mass tort lawsuits filed. And that's what we're working on now, is getting these mass tort lawsuits filed. So let's hold here for today. We'll see everybody back tomorrow. Alex, thank you greatly, and bye-bye.